there's also a larger judicial question on which I'll get in Parvez Memon as to whether the law itself needs a rethink. And let me explain this better. The very fact that today there is a provision which looks at trying juveniles from the age of 16 to 18 as adults under heinous provisions is an impact which came after the uproar that happened after Nirbhaya. Is it now time to extend it to a more logical point in which we say that if a juvenile is within the bracket of 16 to 18, the cap of just a 7-year offense should not apply? Even deaths due to negligence and other cases, if the juvenile is of sound mind, is mature enough and has every possible resource to make him or her aware of the law, then the kid should be treated as an adult.
Well, definitely, Ritanshu, I completely agree with you. It is now time ripe for the legislation to take cue from these incidents, as has been said by my other co-panelist here, Mr. P.K. Jain and all others I have heard. We have been seeing such instances from 1999, starting from the BMW Nanda case, where such laws of accidents and hit and run are being abused, be it Salman Khan or be it Alistair Pereira or be it this current case. As we are being seeing that such cases are on the rise, people are drinking, taking life for granted. People walking on the streets are at times compared by celebrities to dogs sleeping on the street, which is shameful. The legislation should rise to the occasion and make it more stringent to mean at least the onus should be reversed on the accused to prove that he was not under influence of alcohol, or he is not in his senses, or he is not capable, he is not matured enough, or whatever. If he is within the bracket of 16 to 18, he should be invariably tried as an adult. The onus should be shifted then on the juvenile to prove why he should be tried otherwise as juvenile, as can be done in several stringent laws in PMLA, in MCOCA. We see that the burden is shifted from the prosecution to the accused. In such kind of cases, I think these are apt reasons. There are reason enough to rise to the occasion, and the legislation should take cue from this. However, having said so, the current legislation in itself is stringent enough. The law provides that there is a discretion vested with the investigating agency to try such juveniles as adults. Now, what happened in this current case is very shameful. That's what we have been debating since morning, Ritanshu, that the police had failed in their duty right from the time of registering the FIR. The reluctance is obvious. The hush-hush manner in which everything is being swept under the carpet is now all exposed. At some point, they are saying he was not drunk. At some point, they are prosecuting the pub owners for serving liquor to the juveniles. They have the CCTV cameras. The car is not registered from May to June. The system has failed completely. Yes, imagine the plight of the people who have lost two young engineers. They had a life to go. They were merely 24 years. Who's going to account for the lives lost? Every human life lost is valuable.
The system has failed. The system has failed, Anish and Ashwini, and it seems that the system has also already done its best to help this accused juvenile escape. I'll let PK Jain have the final word at this point. Sir, the simple question today I ask on behalf of all of yours is, the concern is that as we saw perhaps in the case of the Arushi double murder, the initial botch-ups or the initial negligence by the cops has resulted in the case not being watertight. And no matter how many stringent laws and no matter how many senior officials and investigative agencies you deploy on the case, the lack of basic groundwork will result in loopholes for the juvenile to escape. Do you feel there is a legitimate fear of that happening in this case as well, sir?
See, the defense is prone to exploit all the loopholes in the investigation right from the stage of FIR. So this is an unfortunate part of it, and the courts normally go along with it. It's the question of what kind of advocate is present in the court and what kind of face value he has. Unfortunate to say that, but it's a fact that it will all be decided on the basis of face value. Even if the case goes in for conviction at the lower stage, they will go to the higher court and nothing is going to happen. I mean, the situation has become so hopeless these days. Number one, getting justice, and that too for parents who are sitting in Indore or somewhere in Madhya Pradesh. And secondly, when the accused are very influential people, they have the backing of the local polity, it becomes extremely difficult for somebody to get justice. And the courts play along with what the advocates say. The finer points of law will be brought out, and it's a very, very dismal state of affairs. Unfortunately, that's a fact. But at the same time, see, I always hold one basic faith that the process of prosecution, if it is genuinely and honestly followed, becomes punishment itself. So I hope the Pune police, the police commissioner there is a very fine officer. I'm sure that once he's taken reins of this investigation, justice will be done as far as the police investigation is concerned. Now, what happens subsequently, what kind of technical flaws and the lacunas that the courts may find to give benefit of doubt, as it has already been done in the case of the Juvenile Justice Board, it is all yet to be seen. But you are right. The system has to hold very strong. Fortunately, the deputy chief minister has come out very
Sir, with
strongly,
all
and the machinery, the system has started functioning and moving. And I'm sure that some action and due action will be taken as far as the investigation is concerned.
I appreciate your candor, Mr. Jain. I appreciate your candor, Mr. Jain. And but with all due respect, it doesn't make for very optimistic reading. The fact that the process is a punishment generally for people who don't have legal resources, given this boy's family connections, I'm sure that's not going to be a problem for him. And ultimately, it should not come down to whose lawyer is better. It should come down to basic evidence, in which case, prima facie, there seem to be enough. Thank you so much, Mr. P.K. Jain, Parvez Memon, and also Sandeep Chachra for joining us with all your with perspectives and views. We really appreciate them. We'll continue our focus on this big story in the days to come. But